Hello again. Although I have nothing actually against the baby boomer generation, known as boomers for short, I'm bound to observe that I've noticed one or two alarming things lately about this generation. In the last month or 6 weeks, I've been told by 5 men over the age of 70, including, sadly enough, my own brother and my oldest friend, whom I was at school with, that they spend a lot of time lately watching old television series from the 1950s and 1960s, together with black and white films from the same era. Frankly, this is disturbing. As a child, I certainly enjoyed Robin Hood with Richard Green, and I also watched Fireball XL5 and Stingray. But the idea that at my age I would sit down and watch reruns of such programs is baffling. I'm talking here about men in their 70s watching the entire series of, say, The Army Game or Bootsy and Snudge with evident enjoyment. For one thing, I'm not at all sure where I would find the time for such a project. So far today, it's nearly 10 to 6. I've climbed a mountain, painted a wall, and put together a fiendishly complex flat pack wooden raised flower bed, which was incidentally like solving some Chinese puzzle. How would I carve out an hour and a half to watch, as my friend who came to visit last week said that he had that very morning, an old film starring Brian Rix and William Hartnell? More to the point, why would I want to? There is so much to do and so many exciting new things happening in the world that stuff like that would be pretty low on my list of priorities, even if I did have the leisure. Of course, I remember in the 1960s, older people, those a generation or two above me, used to get pleasure from watching Laurel and Hardy and the Marx Brothers when they were on the television, and I always found it bizarre then that they would prefer to watch stuff from 40 years ago instead of new things. I did not expect to see my own generation falling prey to this nostalgia for a lost world, because that's what it is. My parents used to speak fondly of before the war, the Second World War, that is, and my grandparents thought everything had gone downhill after 1914. I suppose that I shouldn't be that surprised to find that people of my own age have decided that the 1960s and the 1970s were some kind of golden age. It is, however, slightly depressing.